Hey guys, I just wanted to basically I want to keep up on my video every other day kind of format, but alas, today has been one of those long shifts at work, so I couldn't really put one together by now. But I just wanted to pop on my phone, do a little recording, and just kind of talk, just a little digression, just kind of come on here, talk about random stuff. Maybe you want to hear me talk about random stuff. Man, you can't even see my eyes behind these freaking glasses. But yeah, basically today's topic is role-playing games and what does a role-playing game mean? When does a game become a role-playing game? When does a role-playing game stop being... there's gradations of it, but let's start with my history with role-playing games. I guess it was 1990. It was probably like 1995. One of my neighbors, Billy, good old Billy, he had a copy of Earthbound, and he had a copy of Chrono Trigger. Now, I never watched him play Earthbound. I didn't really play Earthbound until much later, but I did watch him play through a good amount of Chrono Trigger, and I was immediately, I was just blown away. Before that point, the only video games I really played were Mario, the Mario Brothers, and Zelda. I was a big Nintendo guy, so I mean the only games I really played were adventure or platforming, basically. But then I saw him play this game where there was reading and there was numbers, and it was like watching him play. It was like watching a story unfold, like watching a book unfold in front of you, and I was immediately hooked. So basically, I got into RPGs because of the story. The second reason I got into RPGs was really the concept of character growth, growth in a character that wasn't tied down with pure skill. If you put your nose to the grindstone enough and you grind enough, literally, then you can take down anything. It's nice. It's nice for a kid with low self-esteem to have a game where even if you suck, all you have to do is keep on fighting, and you'll get enough XP to level up and beat that boss. But yeah, that's my history with role-playing games, and I pretty much was hooked since I saw Chrono Trigger. I immediately went out and got Final Fantasy 3. I played the hell out of that, and then Final Fantasy 7 came out, and I've been addicted ever since. Sorry, didn't mean to shake the camera around. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is what makes a role-playing game a role-playing game. Now, I know why I started playing role-playing games, and I guess you can really boil down what a role-playing game is from why you play them. So I took some notes. Took some notes on my break. I'm just going to kind of talk. I just wanted to kind of list off what I think makes or could make a role-playing game, in which way, and what basically why they're wrong, and I kind of have a conclusion here. First of all, the most obvious definition of a role-playing game: a game in which you assume a role. Or you play a role. I think there's a big difference between playing a role and assuming a role, I think. But either way, that's not always necessarily true, because you can say The Legend of Zelda or Mario, you're not... I mean, you're assuming the role of a plumber, I guess. Or assuming the role of an adventurer going to save the kingdom. So in essence, those could be construed as role-playing games, but they're really not. They're really not. The next is a sense of exploration. That's also not really true. Because a lot of, there are a good degree of RPGs that are linear. So that's not true. Combat, that's not true at all anymore. It used to be in the 90s, like, you had to really have, you pretty much had to have some sort of turn-based thing to be considered a role-playing game. So, but not anymore. I mean, just look at the Fallout series. It's gone from like an actual isometric turn-based game to like Fallout 4 is pretty much an action game, but it still retains a lot of those role-playing aspects. Another would be the concept of some type of numerical value going up. That's pretty close to an actual definition, because there has to be some sort of growth that's separate from separate from actual player skill growth. So that is true. That is a kind of a unifying aspect of role-playing games. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of cut to the core of what a role-playing game is, and that's definitely might be a very core piece. The story focus, obviously, while that's a very, very important part of role-playing games, there are role-playing games that don't focus on the story, so to speak. Going back to Fallout, while it does have a story and it does focus on the story, that's not why people, myself included, call that game a role-playing game. You know what I mean? It's not because of the story. It's just not. And there's tons of other role-playing games that don't necessarily have a focus on story. So that's not necessarily the core either. Choices that have some sort of consequence, good or bad consequence, that might be closer to the core of what a role-playing game is. And I'm not just talking about like Mass Effect style dialogue consequence kind of thing. I mean, that's included with it, but that's not exclusively what I'm talking about. Really just choices in general. I mean, mechanical choices, narrative choices, all these different types of choices. Because I mean, with non-RPG games, I guess you can say, there's not a lot of choices other than complete the objective. Like back then, it was like run to the right, avoid enemies, avoid obstacles, reach the end. Like that was like your objective. So I guess a level of complexity of player choice, I guess, would be a core component of role playing games. So basically, I came down to this definition of what a role playing game is to me. A role playing game is a game in which player driven development. Now that means the development of that character is driven through the player. Obviously, that's what I just said. But I mean, like, how else can I put this? It's player-driven development. It's up to you to do it. It's not a matter of like walk to the right, avoid enemies. It's a matter of this is up to you to get as much XP as you want, to progress the story, to do this side quest, to make this narrative choice. It's up to you. It's not a single focused objective. There has to be some sort of persistent character. So it's a player-driven development of a persistent character or a character party. So the character or the character party has to stay the same, and it has to have a persistent growth or development. Whether that be numerical, like purely numerical, like through stats, or the gain of abilities, or the gain of new equipment, or new weapons, new items, all that good stuff. There has to be some sort of persistent growth. And most of that is, like I said before, through the making of consequential choices, good or bad consequences. So yeah, that's what I kind of thought about. That's what I did today. I kind of thought about role-playing games. I want to know what every one of you thinks about role-playing games. What was your first experience with role-playing games? What made you want to continue role-playing games? And what is your definition of role-playing games? I want to know, because I love role-playing games. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been, what am I going to call this? It's my random digression show. Anselmo versus Stuff. That's it, guys. Anselmo versus Stuff. This has been the first episode of Anselmo versus Stuff. Have a great day, guys.